Yeah. Look at the smile on his face.
I don't get my butt on camera.
How do you feel?
It feels loose. I did the ball underneath the side hips. That feels pretty good. Feels loose.
Excellent. Feel the circulation improving?
Yeah.
Excellent. So you see, if you did just a little bit of that each day, before or after going out and doing your physical stuff, it's going to help. Because stuff does lock up.
Yeah.
And when we learn alignment, you're going to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Because then you'll help prevent the next stuff more so than anything.
Yeah.
So I've been having circulation problems and having nerve pain down my leg, and I literally just put that ball on my foot and stood on it for a little bit, and then rolled the softball above my hip, and instantly I feel more circulation. And like I said, I could feel my toes now.
Wow. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's really good. Yes, give him a hand. We can give him a hand. That's excellent.
Welcome to Fit Academy.
All right.
You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
I don't know what you think you're going to be doing, but we'll fill you in as we go, okay? It should be fun. So basically, I'm Tracy, and that's Rudy. And together we've delivered over 100,000 hours of coaching and personal training since, Rudy started in the mid-'80s, so he's been at it a really long time, and I started in the in the beginning of the 2010s, that period of time. So we basically deliver personal training, rehab, wellness, all of that kind of stuff to people from all walks of life, okay? So originally from Australia, not New Zealand, Australia. And we've lived in Lakeview Terrace for the past 20 years.
Oh wow. Local.
And yeah, we're locals. And what happened with the pandemic was, we used to work out of World Gym. We rented space there. And at the beginning of the pandemic, we moved everything to our home. So now we have a garage, there's a gym, and that's where we're mostly working from. So we were invited here by Dave to teach you guys some easy tools that we've developed to help you avoid some of the physical hazards of your job, because we know a little bit about what it's like through him. You guys crawling under spaces and weird positions of your body, and it's really important that you protect your back, your health, your neck, because you guys are pretty young now, but as you get older, these things become more and more of a problem, right? So the plan is to keep you in peak physical condition as far as being able to do your jobs and enjoy your lives and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to introduce Rudy. So he's an author and an exercise physiologist, which means that he's done a degree in exercise science, so he's pretty teched up in exercise fitness, rehab, all of that kind of stuff. He's been a trainer and coach since the mid-1980s, and he's worked with all kinds of people. We get referrals from chiropractors, physical therapists, because we work with people with back issues a lot, right? So it's not just like training people to how to look fabulous in their bathing suit or something like that. And we do a lot of rehab stuff with all kinds of people. And he's the creator of the tools that you're going to learn today, and they're really unique. So nobody else has these tools, is using these tools, and they're kind of like an undercut, and they can apply to every part of fitness and work and moving your body. Anybody who has a body needs to know this stuff, right? So it's a pretty cool thing. Pretty cool that you guys get to learn it. You're one of the first groups of people that get to learn this. So over to you, Rudy.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've said hello to most of you. So as Tracy was saying, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. So the thing is, it's like, what do you do the other 20? Let's say someone does exercise 1 hour a day. What do you do the other 23 hours? So these tools are not just for when you're working or working out. It's really, what do you do 24/7? So today you're just going to get a little skim. We're just going to go over just the 5 basic tools, and there's going to be a little practical section there, which means you're going to do some hands-on so you get a little feel of what it's like. So I heard some joking about, which I always love, right? The stretch class. So people think it's going to be a yogi stretch class. Did you bring your leotards? No. So that's definitely not what we're doing. So this is more, padding with what we've seen really work. And so this is getting written up. So we've got 2 books. There's a sample of 1 book for people to go to gyms. We just brought it in so you can see. It's got pictures and stuff from the past. And but the 3rd book will be totally on this, what you're going to learn, get an idea of today. So 5 tools, prevention is better than cure. So that's really where we're coming in, okay? So what happens is some of my background is I played a little bit of professional rugby in Australia, rugby league. That's the oval-shaped ball, no pads, no mouth guard, no shin guards. So you can pay a penalty. I only played it for a short period. So then what happens 30, 40 years later? So this body's 62 now. So it's like, so let's look at that. Well, maybe someone isn't a professional athlete, or because that's pretty intense. What if they have a really intense job, right? So you think, what's a hazardous occupation that needs help? So you think, oh, construction, you think, fireman, you think, okay, that's pretty physical. But then what do you find? What about a dentist who's bent over like this all day and cranking it out? So there's early retirement. So we're trying to avoid early retirement or give you tools you can use in the present time now. So then you can avoid getting any potential negative effects later, or definitely reduce them. All right, so there's 5 tools we've put together. And like I said, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like a missing piece in the whole health and fitness industry, or even work industry really, or even schools. So you can have different groups who can use these tools. So we're going to look at what they are. So we've come up, we've got to name it somehow. So some of this can also be used to teach trainers, because we want to improve the industry. But anyhow, so there's multiple uses for this. So here for industry, the corporate industry, like you guys, very important. So let's go over what they are. So we've got RMX is just, that little acronym going for R's for rudiments. So, like, what's the most basic elementary? What is it, like, if you're going to move or sit all day, what is it you need to be aware of that's important? So like, who's ever sat at the end of the day that got a sore neck or shoulders just from sitting and typing, right? Yeah, we've all experienced that. It's like, what do you do about that? This is what you're going to learn here, right? You guys are on the cutting edge. I'm not just saying it for the video just to blow it up. It's on the cutting edge of what we're going to promote and get out there. So the rudiments are, what are those things? So there's 5 things, we've applied this to a lot of people and got some amazing results. Like a 60-year-old who used to get sore when he snowboarded, now he can snowboard for 3 days. He can last more than 3 hours. What are we doing that's different? So, we've looked at lots of stuff, and, we're using this data and this data, but it came back to this is the key to it. Once you learn it, it's yours forever. Okay, so the next thing is we want to measure, keep an eye out on these things. So when you know these 5, you can measure and just keep an eye on it. It's like when you're driving a car down the road, if you have no instruments, where does the gas going to run out? What's your speed? You can get pulled up, right? So people just go and they exercise, or they sit and they work and they do whatever, but they don't have any instruments. They don't even know there's instruments. Now there's instruments as far as we're concerned. So we need to measure these important things, and X has to do with movement or exercise with a purpose. So you guys get under the buildings because you do inspections. You're moving with a purpose, right? So like, what do you need to measure? Keep an eye on it so it can help you healthy, right? So when we get to, these are the 5 tools we're going to go into it. So rudimetrics is basically a way to, what 5 things do we need to look at and measure, keep an eye on. And even when you're moving and working out, you're thinking, oh, I need to apply this, I need to apply this. Now at the beginning here, we're going to get into barriers. So today you're going to get a little play. Now Matt, you already have some experience with some of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of this will be a refresh, but there's been definitely an update.
Honestly, yeah, I'm super looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything at all.
That's cool. Okay, so the first step's important, barriers. Okay, so what are barriers? So we have multiple barriers. Okay, so we have physical barriers. So that's what we're mostly going to address. So with barriers, these barriers can really screw someone up if they're not assessed or found. And so it's, you say ignorance is bliss. Okay, I'll give you an example. I was talking to one of my guys the other day, one of our clients. He says he had a little upset. His brother had to retire early from plumbing. It's like, why did he have to retire? Because he doesn't know these. He has no way, he doesn't know how. He had barriers that he had accumulated. He's probably got to the point where he couldn't even bend and twist, and he'd probably damage his back, right? And you've got to look at sports. Golfers, they do their backs in a lot of times because they're bent and they're twisted, but there's some missing stuff. So they create barriers, but they don't know how to relieve the barriers. So again, this is what we're going to concentrate on with regards to barriers here. So with barriers, things can lock up and get tight, and they can cause aches and pains, and they can stop movement. There's also, like, muscles can get very short and tight. So what do you do with that? Okay, so we have to do some kind of stretching. You have to be able to. We're going to teach you to assess for yourself. So as we go along here, this is like a 6-week course, more or less. You're going to find out. So then we're going to teach you. Each week's going to be on one of the topics, and we want you to learn it pretty well and apply it to yourselves. And then you can sit and you'll start using it at work or at home, or you're going to start teaching people at home. I've got a headache. What do I do? Well, this one you can virtually get rid of it. No drugs, nothing. Okay. And the best thing is you are your own practitioner. The other thing is some people may have some loose, weak areas. So then what do you do? That becomes a barrier. So that's the 3 common physical barriers.
Rudy,
Good. Yes?
could you write the word next to the B?
Yeah. Okay.
That
Now,
way,
if someone has a, what's that?
that way they can track better.
Yeah. If someone has a question, I can take it, but we are going to have a question and answer section towards the end. Okay, so that's the barriers. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. And it'll become more real once we get you to use one of the tools, because there's many tools. Okay, so the next thing we need to know something about is how do we recover from barriers? What do we need to do? Okay, so now, I'm at home. Who's ever snaked their house? Yeah, I did a lot of it, right? Big, thick coil, right? Down, and you're doing this, you're pushing it through, What's going to fatigue? What's going to
Lower
fatigue?
back.
That's right. My lower back starts to burn. It's fatiguing. Now, I'm a trainer, right? So, yeah, I'm a beast. I'm just going to keep going.
Yep.
Then I know when to pull up. Because I know how to recover. So I take it to the end limit, which is not what we usually teach, but you know, I like to push it. So, you know, I'm going, so, okay, I stop. 5 to 20 second rest, right? Or a stretch. Beautiful. Now I can go back in and do some more without potentially compromising. If I keep going, right, I can fatigue that so much that, you know, I could end up, something happens and I have to jump and it makes you know I've done something, right? So we need to know how to recover. So that's an important part of everyday life. You're sitting for hours. How do you recover from this? You're texting, right? How do you recover? Okay? The tools here give you that data so you know how to, get some relief. Okay? So, that's right. So stretching is one of the tools, because remember I mentioned tight muscles. That's one of them. There's 3 main barriers. There's more, but there's 3. Okay, so we need to know how to recover. So when to rest, when not to rest. So say someone gets a tweak or an injury. Oh, I'm going to go back and start my exercise or work. Until you're not ready. Oh, okay. Oh, I tweaked again. Right? Oh, I've got an injured knee. I don't take care of it. And then go out and I try to run and play soccer again, or whatever it is. You haven't let it recover. So with recovery, we're going to use this tool here when we get to it. Like how do you know? When do you push? When do you back up? That's in here. Okay, that's gradients. I'm jumping a little bit, but we're going to go into here. Okay. So good. Now alignment. So alignment is key, because like how do we prevent some of these barriers? Now we can think a car is really good. I already used the instruments or gauges. Like if most people just drive their motor vehicle, the human body, we could say, right? And they have no gauges. They don't know. Oh, I kind of feel hungry. Should I eat if I feel hungry? I don't know. What should I eat? They have no idea. It's okay, because we're not really trained in it, right? Like, you know, how do I sit if I'm at the computer all day? Do I sit like this? We're not taught at schools or high schools, right? Even as a fitness trainer, I did many courses in the 80s. We weren't taught posture and all this kind of stuff. So this is talking about posture, right? This is like if someone's doing, hey, I like to exercise, I want to do bicep curl. Well, do I lock my knees? Oh, there's my lower back. Okay, what's the position? Where's my head? Where should that be? So there's 7 points. When we get to this, we're going to teach you that, and then you're going to practice that. So that helps to reduce the potential of creating unwanted things. And we're going to do. I'm going to need a volunteer. I want someone to show me what you do when you go under a building. I want the posture, right? I want to see someone crawling. Now, right now, does anyone have any aches and pains? Just curious. Any discomfort somewhere?
Lower back.
This morning, though. This morning, no extra pains. But
Yeah.
sometimes,
okay. Yeah. Does anyone have any particular tight spots? It's okay. We're not going to,
My neck still a little bit. It's not bad. And then lower back.
Okay, low back and neck. And we guessed, and we kind of had an idea that's what could happen because of the movement that you have to do for work. That's part of it, right? Definitely. But there's stuff you can do. That's the good news, right? Okay, so like, in a motor vehicle, if you have 2 wheels and if they're out of alignment, what happens to the tires?
They wear out.
Real fast, and the edges go. Same with the human body. So you can say, well, maybe like the heart is supposed to pump, 50 trillion times and then that's gone. Well, maybe, I don't know, I've read things. It's like, well, how many of these can that knee joint last? Well, if it's out of alignment and I'm doing this, right, then I'm really like accelerating the destroy my knee thing, right? Like I had a kid come to me, 19 years old, been to a physical therapist, chiropractor, maybe a doctor, had a little bit of help, couldn't type, couldn't type. He was a computer science major, 19 years old, smart kid. Found this, right? That's why he's smart. So he came to us, all it is I taught him this. Right? He couldn't type. He was using a voice activation system to type for himself. How bad is that? 19 years old. What happens when he's 60? If he's smashed up now. So he came, I couldn't promise him anything because I don't know. But a physical therapist had a crack at him, a chiropractor, and maybe a doctor. So it's like, okay, within 2.5 months, he's typing 2.5 hours. His knees had an issue. He used to like riding his bike. So it's like, okay, I put him on our stationary bike in our setup. We have a professional setup in our place in Lakeview Terrace. He sat on the bike, he was riding his bike. I knew this was going to happen. But just because I think I know, I have to verify. So I had a look. And as he's riding, his knee's like this. There's his foot on the pedal. Where do you think the pressure's going to go?
Inside.
Inside. So straight away, I taught him alignment. All I did was I taught him the tools. If I teach him the tools, he owns it. It's like I'm handing over my hat. I know this stuff. You learn it. It's yours. You become cause, in control. So straight away, he knew he had to work on that. So each time he rode, now we have to find out, well, why is it collapsing? Is there something tight here? Is there something weak? So that takes a little more knowledge, right? But at least if you knew that, it's like he can do that. Now, the other day he went out and rode 28 miles. Hardly any discomfort. That's pretty cool, don't you say?
Yeah.
You know, he was confident because he was frightened, like, I don't know what to do, should I do it, should I not? He was a good idea not to, because if you kept going with misalignment, 2-3 years, who knows where his knee would be? Anyway, so that's alignment. Now, who wants to demonstrate inspecting underneath the building, just across here?
I think Matt's really good.
Good, man.
He
I
knows.
think you guys all choose me.
I'm guessing.
Crawl under the chair.
Matt's probably the youngest one and he's in training, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. How'd you get?
Well, let's see how well you guys taught him.
Yeah, right. Well, nobody taught me.
Use chair to crawl space.
Oh yeah, go on. That's a tight spot.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So I'm gonna be moving through this thing.
So this is pretty real.
Oh, nice.
This is pretty real.
Oh wait, here we go. Right angles, right angles. Here we go. I have to go through that one and into that one.
That's good.
There we go.
So this is pretty real, right?
Yeah, it is real.
That height's pretty real.
So,
They're tighter even sometimes.
Wow.
That's like a TNG girder. The reins on it.
In Matt, there's a rat right there. There's a rat.
With your bare hands.
there's a dead hanging
There's a broken sewer line right there. Oh, the shit's gone.
Well done. Let's give him a hand, guys. Thank you for volunteering, Matt.
volunteer.
All right. So it's a little bit of cheating to use him only because he has worked with us in the past, and he has some conditioning, and hopefully he's kept it up, right? But just seeing that, the thing that was glaring to me, did you notice any misalignment? Just rough.
I was busy,
You were
Phil.
busy doing that. Okay. So the main thing I saw is the head was a little cranked this way, which is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So-
Well, we have to look. That's the thing. Is we're crawling. We're not just there to crawl.
That's right.
We have to crawl and swivel.
Yeah.
You know, because we're looking for
Otherwise,
something.
I hit your head on a girder and it hurts really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's things you can do before and after that will help you. We're going to cover that when we do alignment, okay?
Yeah.
Because we need more time. We don't have the time today. But just now, all I want you to do is become aware that there are solutions and what these are. So like if my head is out of alignment and I'm twisting, I'm asking for trouble. So the first thing is we know, well, what is alignment? Oh, what's neutral? And why, right? So if we look at the back, there's a bone here. Let's say there's a disc and then there's a bone and there's another bone. And, so it goes like this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's whether it's in the neck or down in the lower back. So let's say if someone bends forward, there's the head, and they pick up a heavy weight and they don't know what they're doing in the gym, right? They've got a big bar or something, or pick on a gym goer. Now, what's happening here is, there's the bones. You see what's happening to the vertebrae? They're pinching in here, right? And then there's a disc. Now, add a twist to it. You're trying to spit that disc out, and they wonder why they damaged their back. Now, if this person knew about alignment and knew about spine neutral, and let's say they had to get it in a more ideal thing, then the spaces are going to be more natural, and they're going to have some distance between this instead of pinching it either on the inside or because when people have spine injury issues, it's either they bend this way or that way. Sometimes it's that way. It just depends which way the disc went, right? So this is kind of cool to know. So this is all about alignment. So we're going to get into that. We're going to keep it really simple and give you tools, especially for the neck. What do you do before and after from the strength stretch, and also how do you keep it as best you can in neutral? Is that something useful, do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then gradients. Okay, we're doing good here. We're doing really good. All right, so gradients is pretty simple because if you're thinking of a staircase, okay, so you go, someone standing there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do you start someone? Right? What's that? On 1. Yeah, that makes sense. Some people go, I want to lose some weight. I'm going to run around the block. I'm about 50 pounds overweight. I'll use that as an example. Say, yeah, no. Or 100 pounds overweight, you're going to smash your knees. And running is not what you need to do right now. So, there's other things they can do before they can. So they have to get themselves so they can do that. Also, when we do gradients, we're referring to, I couldn't find a better word that described this. It's like when even when you say you're doing a stretch, how hard do you stretch? Oh, it's like, I don't feel it. There's two extremes, isn't there?
Yeah.
If you go too hard, actually you don't even stretch. You can even tear it. So it's like we apply gradients to strength training, to stretching, to cardio, to, I'm going to sit for a few hours. Well, get up every whatever, just move. So that's using gradients to give you some relief from the sitting posture. Okay, pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fitness, they use progress, regress. It's like, this one word kind of gives you a good feel of what it's like. There was one example I saw, you got to know who's around you, who's good, bad, or ugly. So, because people come and go, I want to do Pilates, or I want to do CrossFit as well as, get some help from it. It's okay. So we check out the studios. So one studio I went in, it was in Lycra Center. It was a CrossFit, but they didn't call it CrossFit. So I went in there and did a class. I said, I'm a coach. I have clients. Sometimes they ask me about CrossFit. So I want to see how it goes. Yeah, I was up front about it, went in. And then, there's women in there like, young mums, 30 years old, right? It's the middle of the day. And they had them running them through it. At the end of the class, there was three of them on the ground, passing out. The woman was like smiling at me, said, oh yeah, they're not very fit. I'm thinking, you're very stupid. So what are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to turn them off. This is my industry. This is, me taking responsibility. It's like you're wrecking, that person may never exercise again because you just wrecked her, right? Because she went out crazy. Like that was for an athlete workout, right? Anyway, so you can see they can get violated, but let's say those women had this data, they went in there and the woman said, let's go, and they go, yeah. Just work at their level, right? This makes them calls, gives you control. You can have a trainer, you can have a coach, you can work by yourself. You can use it at workouts, you can use it when you're out hiking, you can do it anywhere, right? Okay, good. Any questions on that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So we're going to apply that when we do the tools. Like even when you try to get rid of knots and things, how hard do you press and why? If you press too hard, you may not even release the tension. So there's a little bit of data. So we need this. You can't take it out. I've tried taking these out. They don't work. They all work together in good harmony. And the last and very simple one is, and we touched on this here, and this one is the goal. Why are we doing this, right? So we need to have some goals set. There's got to be a reason. So you can have goals, and we'll say to if we work with people, when we work with people, I should say, okay, what do you want to get out of today? Like, especially if we've been working them for a while, and we know, someone wants to lose weight, someone wants to get strong, someone has a balance thing, someone has an injury, so we know where they're going long term. But we go today, they go, my energy's really low, and it's like, my head's like, okay. So then we do the help them, get them to release the tension out of it. Good, okay. And at the end, our goal is they feel better. They're one little step closer to their goal. So you can set goals for the day. Like I said, today we set a goal for our meetup today, which is at the end of it, we want you to be interested and know and get the idea of the value of this and how you can utilize some of it. That's the whole idea with this. And the thing with goals, what's interesting is there's want goals and need goals. So it's like, someone goes, I want to, function better, I want to look better, I want to be healthier, I want to be pain-free. Good, okay, so then you have to find out, well, what do you need? So that's where the assessment comes in. So when we teach you how to assess to find what you need, just give you some simple tools with that. Does that sound like a good thing?
Yeah.
All right, so now there's a little practical section here. So we have some balls over here, and we're going to, so ideally we use a wall. We could use the floor, but we have to go, we want to apply gradients and just go a little easier on it. Now, if anyone has sore feet or gets sore feet, I have little golf balls we're going to use. So there are different tools we use, and we have softer ones. Tracy's got the soft, the hard ones.
I've got racket balls.
Yes, so I'm going to put the balls out
I use
here.
those. I use those.
You do?
Right now,
Yeah.
So you could use them on feet, but when we're working for lower back, we want something bigger. And
That's
there's
when we
different types
use
of
soft
balls.
balls.
So there's soft balls.
I got an old bucket downstairs.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
We were doing a
Really?
softball league for a
Yeah,
little
still there, right?
bit. Yeah.
Oh, there you
Oh,
This is what you
just
do.
use those. That's perfect.
go. Yeah.
Good. Any more?
Lacrosse balls are good too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, lacrosse balls are awesome. They're harder.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And again, that's a gradient point, right?
Yeah.
That looks like a weapon.
yeah, it is. So if you misbehave.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the beauty of this is
People got one.
you can use this if you lean on a wall, right? Like I'll do a demo here. Okay. You getting me in here on this one? So like say I want to do the wall, I'm trying to get on a switch. And see, so I can go in there, so I want to get the back of the shoulder blades. Okay? If you put it on a bone, it's not productive. It's not going to kill you, it's just going to feel uncomfortable. So now I'm leaning. So if we do standing stuff, see, so now I'm getting in here and I'm looking, just get away from the switch. Good, so, okay. So now I've got my feet out so I can lean, so now I'm getting in here to find a spot. Oh, there's a little spot. When you just breathe, right? So we can do it on the wall. For lower back, again, you can just lean, just find a spot, okay? And
Really
keep
stay
close
off the
to the spine. What's that?
Stay off the bone on that one.
Yeah, stay off the bone because there's little spiny things. So just to the left, right of it.
You press into it or roll it?
No, don't move.
Alright, let's check.
Yeah, so you find a spot. Now the pressure should feel like a 5, maybe 7. So like if I push hard, I can take it further up, which we don't need to do that, right? So 5 to 7, then you just hold and breathe. And it can take 1 to 60 seconds or more. So you have to be patient. Now when we've done these with people, we've done groups of, 200 people, not all in one hit. The barriers is the key. They just love it. They're like that. We can hardly move them out into other areas. Now, little demo, you can also do it on the ground. So if we're going to work the back, now we're going to get into it more when we do this, but we just want you to get a little taste. So we do back. What's below the back?
But
Yeah, so that can also lock up. So we need to release the glutes. So you go above and below it, and you can even go in front of it. So even like, hey, I'm not teched up on anatomy with them up. I say, okay, you just look for the spots. You just go, okay, above, below, and even the front. So we go, so stuff in the front can affect the back. That's kind of interesting, right? So someone has an issue here, they could cause an issue here, right? Anyhow, so if we get to the ground's a little harder because then you really have to hold your weight up with your hands. It's okay. So see, I can sit on here. I mean, I've done this 1,000 times, right? So I'm holding the pressure off with my hands. See that? So then I can find spots and then I would hold. And this is really interesting, right? And then you can go to the side. The side of the hip is a real common area with back issues. But you're going to feel, you might get warm, tingly, you're going to feel lighter. This is usually what you'll experience when you get up in the ring. And Matt's nodding because he knows he's done this stuff. He's had some handling. So see, so there I am. You can see I'm working here. Now if I want to get into the lower back, I can just bridge up or turn to the side. And then you can do this on the ground, just lightly. You don't have to put too much pressure, and breathe. Okay, you got the idea, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can find
do
a
the
wall.
small ball like this as well? too,
No,
or-
that's going to be useless for that. Small ball's great for under the feet.
Okay.
We need bigger balls. So if you have some balls downstairs, it's a little grind.
That's right. The softballs are for your back. So you just step on it and hold it.
Yeah.
Find a spot.
Is it good for your back?
Yeah, but you're going to need something else. So different size balls.
Oh, no, I got the squishy one here.
Yeah.
I like this.
Now it's interesting you guys are all doing your feet because I noticed on your pictures it's not your feet that have been a
No,
problem.
if you always feel good.
No, but
Sort of
I
top
didn't
ball
even
is for-
realize it. That's the thing.
Yeah, right.
It's so tight down there. It's like I hadn't really experienced
This
pain
isn't gonna
yet.
work on my back really. So.
No, dude, here.
No, you're going to need a bigger ball. Now, one thing for the neck, I'm going to show you guys if you want to look over here. If we use the side of the wall, this is pretty neat. It's a little trickier, but it's really good to get right into this area. So what you do, it's like, try like a football movement where you're pushing. So you turn, that way your head can have some free weight, and you just lean into it like this.
Oh yeah.
Rugby,
Yeah.
what's that called in rugby?
Looks like it hurts good.
Scrum.
Yeah.
I used to play. I was right. I was a hooker. Yeah, there you go. That's cute.
A scrum. Get each other's shoulders at once.
Yeah.
On ball. What's the difference between rugby and footy? Is there a difference?
No, but there's three types of footy. Or footy is, you could say, it would be the main name. Footy.
Yeah.
Let's go play footy. So
Yeah.
that could mean Australian rules.
Okay.
Kick the ball up,
Okay.
aerial, they jump, and then there's two types of rugby. But I'll go that with you.
We'll go later. Yeah.
And it's really good. But then if we want to put it on steroids, then we get something with vibrating technology. We're going to get into these when we do barriers. We're going to look at all the different tools. And you mentioned one, massage, but there's different
Theragun.
types of. What's that?
The Theragun.
Yeah, the Theragun's great. That's a percussion gun. So, but anyway, we'll get into that, and then we'll tell you what we use, what works, what I use in myself as well. So this is awesome, very simple, easy. Like if I have to go to, to the East Coast, I've got to think about East and West, because in Australia we lived on the East. I took this, and I'm going to give you an example. So this was a freak thing, right? So I'm in my quarantine room, right, writing up a book, and I step, and it's like, I can't step on this foot. It's like, what the? I don't know what happened, right? I'm not kidding you. It's like, yeah, I'll just walk on my toes. Yeah, it's okay. I got to the bed quick. Lucky I had this with me. I turned it on, stuck it under my feet. 2 minutes later, gone. Walking back as normal. That's how freaky this stuff is. And we're going to explain why when we get into it. So it's a certain type of tissue we need to know about, okay?